My name's Chris and I like listening to music. I'm going to listen to Miley Cyrus, Something Beautiful, believe it or not, which is the pleasant surprise of the year for sure. Some great moments that fulfills her promise of not being an average pop star. Was super impressed on the first listen and gave it an 8 out of 10. Think that's about right. It didn't grow on me maybe the thought, the way I thought it would, but over the next 9 listens, I really did fall more in love with parts of it. It was always a pleasure when it was on. Let's see what the last listen brings. Track one, Prelude, fantastic start, not unlike Black Country New Road with its sort of Celtic stabs into something like Depeche Mode, Black Celebration. Who thought you'd be saying that about a Miley Cyrus album? Spoken vocal I can live without, but I love the ambition. It's an intro that is any artist could give, it could be Arca or Sub John Stevens, just a super impressive start. And it's great when a superstar doesn't play it safe. 10 out of 10. Track two, Something Beautiful. And then you think, right, okay, we know where we are now. We've got a lovely ballad. It's sort of Princey sound, could be scissor, a little bit soulful with jazzy feel. And you think, okay, track two, fair enough. That track one was, nice, but a bit of an anomaly. But no, then it gets proper noisy, really well timed. Yeah, everything just happens at exactly the right time. The ending's a brilliant sort of Beatles-esque crescendo played by a metal band. Again, superstar, relevant music with an edge. Fantastic. Another 10 out of 10. Track three, End of the World. Of course, it couldn't be a whole album of darkness. I get the feeling she might want to do a whole album of darkness, though. It's ABBA, Kylie, pop-sounding record that's more than solid. Lovely lyric, catchy, well-made, nice breakdown. This is what I expected it to sound like, but it's better than I expected. Good stuff. 8 out of 10. Track four, More to Lose, the first proper power ballad which showcases her voice. She's got the Bonnie Tylers about her, and the production's quite Jim Steinman as well, so pretty good, a lot more than her contemporaries with the production. There's a bit more going on, but ultimately aimed at teenage girls and not old beardy blokes like myself. 6 out of 10. Track 5, Interlude 1, wonderfully interesting, and just your average pop album doesn't do this. It's got a world music, epic soundtrack feel with a bit of easy listening glockenspiel. It sounds good to these ears, it really does, and keeps the album moving along nicely. 9 out of 10. Track 6, Easy Lover, not Phil Collins and Phil Oakley. Phil Oakley anyway, Phil Bailey cover, sadly. Steady groove with an 80s feel, like Anastasia or somebody like that. I saw it was the latest single, and I would have been braver. I think there's much better on the record, so the record executives definitely played a part there. Definitely a little bit cold, 6 out of 10. And track 7, Interlude 2, love that. Dancey music from nowhere, showing the ambition and difference again. Proper music, that, 10 out of 10.